Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are tuning in from today. My name is Tonya McNeal-Weary, and I am the founder and managing director at IBS Global Consulting, a global management consulting firm that specializes in helping companies go global. I want to first take this opportunity to thank the International Trade Council for hosting such an amazing event, and is so greatly needed, especially during these times. I also want to thank all of you for tuning in with me today for this session. So today I want to talk to you about how to grow and scale your startup, especially during these unprecedented times. So people will often ask, Tonya, is now a good time to start a business? Well, my answer is yes. Now is a great time to start a business. I know many small businesses that have been impacted by the recent COVID-19 pandemic over the recent year. But as entrepreneurs, we see challenges as opportunities. So not only is it a good time to start a business, it's also a good time to think about how you can grow and scale your startup in the years to come. So where do we start? You first want to craft a business plan that's focused on growth and scaling the business. You want to determine the resources needed to implement your plan. Once you determine the resources needed, you want to make sure you have the necessary resources to scale. Now, that can be both financial and non-financial resources, such as staff and technology systems. You may need to seek an additional round of funding to meet your business goals. You may recall the famous quote from Benjamin Franklin: "If you fail to plan, you are planning to fail." So your business plan is going to be critical as you think about growing and scaling your business. Next, you want to discover where the opportunities for growth are. You can do this by looking at current market trends and seeing how your business can exploit these opportunities. Or is there a problem your product or service can solve? Are there market gaps your business can address? These are things you want to look at as you are seeking market opportunities for growth and scale. So next, you want to think about your marketing strategy. When thinking about your marketing strategy, you want to make sure you know and understand your core product. What's your unique value proposition? What makes you unique? And how are you different from your competitors? You also want to understand your target customers. You want to know who they are, where they are, and how are they currently buying your product or service. Next, you want to take a look at the various marketing channels. What marketing channels will offer the greatest return on investment? Now, when thinking about marketing channels, you can look at both direct and indirect channels. Direct means that you're selling your product directly to your consumer. There's no middleman or no one in between. So that can be via your website, for example. So that means your product leaves your warehouse and goes directly to your target customer. Indirect means that there is someone in between, a middleman. For example, maybe you want to sell your products through a wholesaler. So your products will go from your warehouse to that wholesaler, then to your customer. So you want to take a look at the various channels and determine which channels are going to be best suited to meet your marketing and business goals. Next, you want to develop a marketing plan to boost the visibility of your startup business. There are two marketing channels that are essential components of any startup marketing strategy. So let's take a look at those two: content marketing and digital marketing. Content marketing focuses on creating and sharing content, usually educational in nature. So this can include your blog, articles that you've written, ebooks that you've published, videos, webinars, and even infographics. Now, when you think about digital marketing, that can include things like your website, which I like to see, I like to view as your online business card. This is the first point of contact from your target customer to your product or service. So you want to make sure that you have an engaging website that speaks to your target audience. Again, that is usually the first point of contact, them finding you online and going to your website. So again, I like to see that and call that your online business card. Next, let's talk about email marketing, which is an effective way to build relationships with your audience. If you do decide to use email marketing, you want to make sure that it's consistent. So think about if you're going to send out newsletters, e-newsletters, on a weekly basis, maybe bi-weekly or monthly basis. So one of the keys to success in email marketing is consistency. There's also social media marketing. That's a great way to engage online with your target customer and to build relationships. Now, I know there are many various social media channels out there, but when you're thinking about your marketing strategy and you're developing your marketing plan, you want to go where your customers are. Remember, I mentioned you want to know who your customers are, where they are, and how are they currently buying your products and services. So knowing which social media sites your customers are likely to be engaged will help you in understanding what channels you need to focus your efforts and energy. So maybe your target customers are on Facebook, maybe Pinterest, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Now, it's not necessary to have all, but again, focusing on those channels where your customers are likely to be. There's also mobile marketing and SEO, or search engine optimization, to increase the visibility of your website. So in other words, this will help increase the traffic to your website. Your content marketing can also be part of your digital marketing strategy. So again, it's those things that we just talked about, such as your blogs, your articles, ebooks that you've published, or videos, webinars. So that content marketing can also be part of your digital marketing strategy. So now, once you have conquered your local market, now it's time to scale up, and to scale up globally. Are there new markets that you can reach? Are there other territories that you can expand your products or services to? As an international business consultant, I always tell my clients to think global, and think global from the beginning. So when you're expanding into new markets and new territories, what does that look like? Where do you start? Digital expansion is one of the easiest ways for you to expand your products and services into new regions around the world. This can include website globalization, which can be something as simple as adding a translation box at the top of your website. You want to make sure that your website is targeted to the specific regions and customers that you're trying to reach. There's also targeted SEO, search engine optimization. So say, for example, you're a US company, you're looking to sell your products, say, for example, in France. You can target your SEO to target customers in France. Another way, when you think about global distribution and how to expand your products into new markets, you want to, if you're talking about physical expansion, so we talked about digital expansion. Again, that's one of the easiest ways to expand your products and services. Easiest, because you're just utilizing your website, you're globalizing your website for a targeted country or market, you're localizing that to make sure that that message is targeted to that specific client base. That's the easiest way. But now let's talk about physical expansion and what that looks like. You want to first do your research. If you're talking about physical expansion, you want to analyze, you want to analyze where and why, okay? You want to analyze where to go and why you've chosen that particular location. So maybe it's because it's low barriers to entry, meaning that it's an easy market to enter into. Maybe there's low competition, less regulation, maybe there's a strong demand for your product or service. So when you do your market research, these are things you want to look for, those markets that's going to be best suited for your product or service. When looking at global distribution channels, there's many. We can start with the easiest, and that's online retailers, online marketplaces, such as Amazon, which is the world's largest online marketplace. They have many others. Again, you can take a look at those various marketplaces and see where you want to place your product and service and how you want to reach those target customers in new markets. You can also do this by establishing relationships with experts, local experts on the ground. There's no need to reinvent the wheels, to say. Leverage the resources that already exist. So maybe you can hire a local agent or sales representative in country to sell your product or service. Maybe you can enter into a distribution agreement with a trusted distributor in country. Now, these individuals will already have access to your key customer base. They're already selling similar products. They're already selling to your target customer. So again, leveraging the resources that already exist to get your product or service into new markets. Maybe you want to do that through a foreign wholesaler. Maybe you can establish a retail partner relationship or strategic partnership. This is really great for service-based businesses. So for example, you would partner with a company that offers a similar service, not a competitive service, but a complementary service to what you offer. And they're offering that service to your target customer base. So you would form a strategic relationship or strategic partnership, and they would add your service to their service lines. Again, these are just some simple strategies to help you take your business global. So again, once you're, when you think about your growth and your scale up plan and your strategy, you want to think long term. You want to think maybe 5 years ahead and what that looks like. Control spending. You want to keep all your spending focused on growth. And simplify your business process. You want to make sure that you have a solid team that can help implement your strategy as well as help scale the business. Develop technology partnerships and automate and outsource whenever possible. You want to automate wherever possible, and you want to outsource non-essential roles. This will allow you to keep your focus on growing the business. You want to grow your network, expand your reach. Again, with technology and social media, that has made it so much easier for us to develop relationships and contacts across the globe. So expand your global reach. You want to make sure you surround yourself with like-minded individuals and entrepreneurs and others who have launched successful startups. And seek help when needed. Do not be afraid to ask for help. This is a mistake that a lot of startups make, knowing when and how to ask for help. Now, this can come in many different forms. Maybe you want to seek out a mentor, a business coach, or an expert consultant to help you along your journey. So now let's just summarize what we discussed. You first want to start by developing a solid business plan. This will give you a roadmap, so to speak. And then you can always go back and check and revise your plan. Make sure when you are developing your business plan that you leave room for flexibility and be open to change. You may have to go back, say, after 6 months and make some changes to the business plan. And that's okay. You want to be flexible because things change. We did not expect to be hit by a global pandemic last year. So think about how a lot of businesses had to maybe revamp or pivot or do something different in their business that was outside of what was initially in the business plan. So you want to make sure you remain flexible. Next, you want to identify where those opportunities for growth are. And we talked about ways that you can do that, taking a look at some of the current market trends, identifying where there are problems or needs that your company can address or your product can address. Then you want to develop your marketing strategy. And from that strategy, you want to develop a robust marketing plan. Now, we talked about content marketing, we talked about digital marketing, but there's other traditional marketing strategies that you can also implement depending on your business goals. Last, we talked about global scale up and what that looks like and how you can take your local product to the global marketplace. Doing business internationally offers a great wealth of opportunities for startups and small businesses. So you want to definitely think global from the start. But you don't want to scale too fast. Again, you want to make sure you have the necessary resources in place for scale. You want to make sure that you conquer your local market. You want to make sure you do the necessary research. Make sure that where you're expanding, that there is a need and a want for your product or service. Don't just assume that because your product is selling well in your home country, that it's also going to sell well in another country. Each country is different. The needs are different. The buying habits of consumers are different. So that's why your research is going to be very key and very important as you think about global expansion. But it is within reach. I have worked with numerous startups and small businesses all around the world, and in helping them and inspiring them to think global and take their business to the world. And you could do the same. But start small, think big, then think global. So again, start small, think big, and think global. Thank you. I hope you have enjoyed this presentation today. If you would like further information about me or my company, I have here for you my personal blog website, which is Think Global with Tonya McNeal-Weary, and that's www.tonyamcnealweary.com. You can also reach out to me through my company's website, and that's www.ibsglobalconsulting.com. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in with me today, and a special thanks to the International Trade Council. Thank you.